We've only just begun.
You are now in the realm of enlightenment and transformation, as brought to you by the Foundational Friday. Our core aim is to present an experience, an opportunity for your soul to reascend to its place of origin by cultivating a healthier spiritual awareness and emotional maturity. This show serves as a free offering to the greater community and an addendum requirement for all ANU spiritual training students. For all those listening, if you'd like to move closer to the calculations and fundamental understandings of the ANU order, be sure to pick up the book, Grasping the Root of Divine Power. If you desire a spiritual reading to help you map your current spiritual position in the face of your world and learn the greatest pathways for your fortune in this season, you can go to the SaduluHouse.com. That is SaduluHouse.com. You can also go to OrishaReligion.com to find out how you can become a student and member of the new spiritual order. That's OrishaReligion.com. Let us begin.
Greetings, people. This is Yuya Assaan-ANU, Chief Jegna of the ANU Spiritual Order, as well as the Sadulu House Spiritual Center. We are here again with another Foundational Friday on the Enlightenment and Transformation Experience, brought to you by the ANU Spiritual Order. As always, I am excited and appreciative to be in this space with you, and for all of you who have come here to join us, to share and to speak in this time, however you send your words to me, whether they be telepathically, as we learned in our last segment, or whether they be psychically. I am thankful for it all. Last Sunday, we had a good session. We got to hear Brother Ifa Wunmi in our Anu Asafo session share some experiences and some insights on not only boycotting, but the essence and the energy and what's required in proper Pan-Africanism, Pan-African thought and action and proper agenda. So that was a beautiful gift for us all. In this session, I'll be covering the idea of a Sadulu. Some have asked me before, what is Sadulu? As you know, the Spiritual Center is coined the Sadulu House Spiritual Center. And I never really gave a whole lot of explanation. I mean, obviously it's within the paperwork for the Shule, or as some would call school. And any proposals that I write explain the Sadulu. But I felt it was important because what I've established here in terms of a school, in terms of a learning space and institution, is really something that I personally feel should be mirrored throughout many other different households and communities. And I will give you a little information on the Sadulu. The Sadulu is a space of learning for the community. The term being coined, it's from the Congolese term. And the Sadulu was a space where children would be taken during the day while their parents were working in the fields or doing whatever they did. They would be taken there by older children as well as by the elders of the community, and this is where they would come to learn. So in the Congolese structure, it would be the elders who were the teachers of the community. The value in that, well, not just that the children would receive the valuable wisdom and the insight given to them from the elder community and from the elder populace, but it would also give those elders a sense of purpose and value still within the community. As you would see that as people would progress through their life and they would grow, their position and their stance would change. In the Congolese structure, often when it comes to agriculture, you have the women who plant and farm alongside the men, although their role is a little different because they don't till and do the heavy lifting, but they can do seeding and weeding and so forth and so on. So at very young ages, the children are left with their older siblings who look after them while the parents go to work. Now, the value of, again, the Sadulu is that the older siblings now feel a greater sense of responsibility and accountability to their younger ones, and the older ones, and the younger ones are given something to strive towards when they can view, learn, besides, and look at their older siblings. So what you would find within the Sadulu in a community is that the Sadulu was a meeting, or somewhat even like a watering hole for the entire community to converge on and to learn its lessons and to get its truths. All right. But I always felt that the beauty of the Sadulu was that the Sadulu provided a space for the entire community to feel appreciated and valued and given an opportunity to show what they can do. Now, interesting enough about the Sadulu, it's not like how we have schools or shules here where, the children go into a building every day. The locations of the Sadulus would sometimes change daily. One day it may be under a tree, and that's where lessons would be taught, and other days it may be by the river or on a log. And this is how the Sadulu remained mobile but remained relevant in the sense that lessons could change based on the locations that the education was being imparted on its students and participants. All right, so I felt this was such a beautiful idea and an ingenious one, and it spoke to one of the very intrinsic, natural inclinations that we have as a people, and it was something that needed to be broadcasted and promoted a little bit more. So when I designed my first school, physical school for children, the name of it was the Sadulu House, and that was a shule that was open to children from pre-K to 8th grade, and we did some extremely good work there with the children in the various disciplines of mathematics and alchemy and kinesthetic learning, as well as obviously literature and many other concentrations that I had designed within the school curriculum. So I decided when I began this journey as an instructor, or more so a formalized instructor with my own ile, I decided that I would maintain the Sadulu, the spirit of the Sadulu House that I had already begun in my academic school, and maintained it within this spiritual setting. So the Sadulu is a place where elders can come, children can come, and those in between can come to get right and to, more importantly, get acclimated to the understandings and the knowings of the community. There was a reward that I achieved some years ago, and I received the 3C Merit Award, which stood for Cultured, Conscious, and Committed. And it was an award that I received for the work that I had been doing at that time in a particular community out here in the Northeast, and myself, along with three other people, was honored in a ceremony, and it was very beautiful. I still have the plaque on my wall here, and the reason why it was so important to me and it was so valued is because that it came from within the community. It's nothing like when your own appreciate and reward you. In the same instance, it's nothing like when your own punish you. Okay, whoever is allowed to reward you or whoever is allowed to punish you is who you allow to define you. Okay, so it's something for you to all to think about for those who end up in courthouses and in situations with the children in school, and when your child comes home with a gold star or an A, and you celebrate and you put your postings up on social networks and showing report cards and so forth and so on, you have to realize that that institution now is slowly defining who and what your child is, because soon you'll be saying my child is a straight A student. Right? That's what your child is, as defined and sanctioned by those institutions, which usually coincidentally are also ran by the same people who run the penal institutions in the military. Okay, and this is who you are allowing to define your progeny. So that reward or that certificate, that merit was so important to me because it was my own people who I loved and who I had been warring for and working for and teaching and waking up and educating. And they turned around and said, before anyone else acknowledges you, we're going to acknowledge you. And that's very important. So even within the Sadulu House, I created a system and a situation where we could, by our own standards and merit, determine what it is that we need in this season, and if we're meeting the bar. So that's why I felt it was just important to acknowledge that energy and the idea of the Sadulu and opening up our show or our segment for people to kind of maybe get a sense of some of the ideology and philosophy and even experience that has gone behind the designing of the Anu system. It was nothing that was slapped together or that was not hard earned over many years of study, trial and error, and more importantly, not just me sitting in some shrine and working magic and rituals and spells, but me actually getting out in the trenches, rolling my sleeves up and interacting with the same people who I'm delivering this level of information to. I could have easily went a different direction. I could have easily continued on with just straight community work and teaching the tenets and the principles and doctrines of Pan-Africanism and melanated nationalism. But I understand that the first thing that must be done is the spiritual. That is the genesis and the root core of all things. That is something that has always been understood and overstood amongst our Egun, or what we call our ancestors, whether it be in Kemet and you're dealing with the energy of Amun, or if you're in the Congo and you're dealing with the energy of Ama, or the Sumerians with the Numa. Okay, these are all the same energy, and as you can hear, it sounds like even the same word. So from their definition and their standpoint and perspective, you find that even there's a similar cultural string that goes throughout, which now creates a situation where even when people are naming their archetypes, the names are similar because that energy evokes a similar type of formula. Okay, so Amen, Amun, Amen, Ama. What's the other one? Hammond. A lot of people don't know that the name Hammond, there's some people who have that Hammond. If you ever get a chance to watch the movie, either Mandingo or Drum, the key slave maker, his name is Hammond Maxwell, and the plantation that they live on is Falcon Crest. Right? Isn't that deep? Falcon Crest, which we know we're talking about Haru, and his name is Hammond, which is Amun. Okay, Maxwell, Hammond Maxwell, and the name Hammond actually comes from the name Amun or Amun. Okay, so these are ancient names that are dealing with that triple dark energy or principle that existed before Amun Ra. Ra is the sun, the light, or symbolized by the sun, and it is things that are seen. Okay, but it is that darkness, that defining point, that comes forth in the form of Ra that defines what things are. So as a spiritual worker, or as a community, what is your defining standard? Your defining standard is the darkness and the deepness of your community. Okay, your community or your community. All right, com-unity. So you're clear on what I'm saying to you. This is the defining point that even determines if you have ability as a magician, as a warlock, okay, taken from the term, the Horus lock is where we get the term warlock. Okay, it's the defining of your community. So it's beautiful to do rituals, and phase 1 is where you're mainly working with self. But by the time you get to phase 3 and you're working with the community, you will be in a place, or finish phase 3, I should say, you will be in a place where you can truly define and determine your value and merit as a spiritual worker amongst those who you spring from. Okay, just as Amun Ra determines its value and its worth based on it springing from Amun, that black hole that exists behind this yellow demiurge known as the sun of the solar system. And the science has determined that there's a black hole, which our Kemetic Egun as well as our Congolese Egun told us many years ago was Ama or Amun, okay, the more powerful entity that exists in the back. It's key that we understand or overstand the imminence of the Supreme Being. I've gone through this many times where I've spoken to you about the Ori and how the Ori is your portion of Olodumare, your personal guardian, your personal piece of Olodumare just for you, to guide you and to give you protection through this life through Aye. You're transitioning and you're journeying through the Earth's crust or surface. And there is an aspect of Olodumare who we call Olojo Oni. Olojo Oni. And that deals with the imminence. And what I mean by that, it deals with, if anybody understands or is familiar with the concept of imminence, it deals with the divine presence in all things that are manifested and materialized in the world. This was kind of touched upon in the movie, I think it was the Da Vinci Code, where it spoke about if you break a rock or you break a piece of wood, and there you will still find God. Okay, so that speaks about the immanence and how God is in everything and everywhere. Okay, well, this is a concept that our Yoruba ancestors discovered and negotiated a very long time ago. And it's important when we're addressing, I'm still on the Sadulu community aspect, and we begin to understand that every aspect and expression that exists within our community is an expression of that Olodumare, of the immanence of Olodumare, known as Olojo Oni. Many of you have probably noticed that sometimes when we're referring to the Supreme Being, there are different names used, like, of course, Olodumare. Sometimes you'll hear even Odumare. You might hear Olorun. We did a show, we spoke about a little bit Olorun and how Olorun represents when we, like when we're doing transcendental meditation and we transcend our form or our station. That's why Olorun means owner of the skies, right? We're raising, going above and beyond. And you have Olojo Oni, like I said. You have Alaye, even Ileda. But even Ileda is a little different. We're going to do a show on Ileda at some point. But these are all different aspects of the Supreme Being. And just as the Supreme Being is really a community within itself, you can use the model of these various aspects of Olodumare as a model for your own community building. And even if that's the internal community, the community within yourself, to understand yourself within the material world and within the unseen world, and how you are to move and respond through each community, because they are that of themselves. So I wanted to address the divine natures that exist within your own Ori. Notice I said natures, because these are the various natures of Olodumare that are accessible to you. And it's important for you to understand that. Don't look at the Supreme Being as this far-off, untouchable source that you cannot emulate or you cannot come to a place where you can strive towards. Each aspect of the Supreme Being has been, each known aspect of the Supreme Being has been documented by various traditions. And of course, that is also what our Orisha are and our various other lower archetypes that we have that exist, or as they say, the archangels and then the angels. These are all different streams of consciousness that are springing forth out of the darkness and the light of our supreme intelligence, known by many names. Okay, so what I really wanted to touch upon was the Olojo Oni aspect. Okay, and when you see Oni, you're dealing with inner, and when you see the word Ode, you're dealing with outer. Okay, Oni, O-N-I, inner, just like Inu or I-N-U deals with the inner, and the Ode, O-D-E, deals with the outer. Okay, like outer head. Your Ori Ode means like your outer head, whereas your Ori Inu deals with your inner consciousness. But these are different approaches to that transcendental or the Olorun state that Olodumare offers us. But Olodumare also offers us the ability to recognize and see divinity in all things. So what does this really mean in terms of our ATRs when we're dealing with African traditional religions or any other indigenous system? It means that within all systems, within all realities, within all spheres and experiences, there lives Olodumare. Okay, there is an opportunity to worship and praise in every single situation and environment that you are in, because they all spring forth from the same source. And it doesn't matter if you're initiated in one system or not initiated in one system or whatever. You're a member of this religion or that religion. The truth is that Olojo Oni lets us know that in everything I am, and everything I exist. There is no place that you cannot find me. It's just like in Ifa. There is no place and there is no situation that Ifa does not speak to, because Ifa brings us information as expressly given to us by Elodumare or Olodumare, right? So Orunmila, representing that all-knowing, that wisdom, that consciousness, that Chokma and Baina on our Kabbalic chart, represents the wisdom and understanding that exists in everything that manifests itself on the planet. Okay, everything is within Ifa. Ifa is the premier oracle. I want to make that very clear to you all, especially when sometimes I've had this situation come up with people who receive Ifa readings, not necessarily from me, and they go home and they test the reading with their own divination tools, but they are not using Ifa or have the ability as of yet to understand and read Ifa. Well, you can't really do that. It doesn't really make sense, okay? Because Ifa being that highest oracle, all oracles underneath it will provide less information, okay, and are more easily influenced by the psychokinetic energy of your mind. Psychokinetics means the ability to move and shift things with your own thoughts and feelings and energy body. It's a very real thing. They call it telekinesis. Okay. So when you're dealing with Ifa and you're dealing with Ifa priests, you're dealing with people who have learned how to separate thought from the divination. I have to oftentimes remind clients of that when they come to me for readings, and then they, they'll call me back and say, "Oh, you remember what you told me in the reading or what you advised me to do?" And I have to tell them that it's not me advising you. Okay. And because of that, I don't remember. I very rarely remember things that I say in readings, at least, unless it was something that really, really stuck out. Because I'm just channeling it through. I'm getting my mind, pushing it out the way for a moment, and allowing Ileri Ipin, Rumila, to speak through me, okay? Or any other Orisha I may be working with at that time. It may be Ogun, it may be Imoja, maybe Oshun. Whoever it is that I'm casting to and using as that oracle, then that is the energy that is speaking through me, and I acknowledge that energy in all things. So again, when we're dealing with the ideas of the all-present Olodumare, okay, and when you want to understand, form a deeper relationship with Olodumare or the Supreme Being, in the sense of not necessarily having to go get initiated or a bunch of rituals done, but start to increase your understanding of Olodumare as it expresses itself through every single molecule that surrounds you. You want to call, or you want to give praise to the energy of Olojo Oni. Okay? You want to give honor and worship to Olojo Oni. And what is worship? Worship is just a claiming of attributes. Okay? Worship doesn't mean subservience or complete submission to. All right? Worship means that you're just claiming the attributes of a particular energy, and you want to do that with these various aspects of Olodumare. That's why the names were discovered for you many, many years ago, eons ago, in order for you to create your own personal contracts with these energies. Okay? It's about personalizing what it is that we're doing. And the same thing goes for your Egun. one of the stimuluses for what I'm speaking about now, right? And I hope you all find it to be as applicable to your situations as it actually is. And if you don't, you really need to go back and listen to this show and listen to the words that I'm using. All right, I'm purposely using certain words and certain terminology for you to pick up on and utilize. But in any event, when you're dealing with the Egun, there was a question asked in our new spiritual training group on Facebook, which we will soon, I should have probably put this in the announcements. I'm slowly starting to create a new form on the Sadulu House page because, do for self. I don't know what Facebook is going to do tomorrow. So in the event, we have to be prepared and ready, and within our own environment, we can have maybe a little more open conversation and exchange. So, look out, be on the look out for that soon. That will obviously be included within the next month's newsletter. I know I did not do a newsletter this month or for the month prior, but that is because we're currently going through some re-engineering with the new show and some other things going on. So we've been rearranging. But in any event, there was a question asked some time ago in the group, and it was referring to casting. And if I'm casting the Ifa, what kind of prayers do I do? Or, if I'm casting to my Egun, does it really make a difference? And it certainly does. There are certain words, okay, that trigger. There are certain words that trigger certain energies, right? And if you understand the triggering of those energies, just like if something's going on and you scream stop in the middle of the street, it's going to trigger certain things, right? So it's very important to understand the word sounds, the energy, and the mathematical vibrations that come from your mouth that actually trigger certain other things to action. And I'm going to give you something very simple, okay, that you can do when you're dealing with your Egun. Okay, when you're approaching your Egun shrine, it's one way you can approach is you can show your reverence by bowing down on your knees and touching your forehead to the floor. Okay, there's a name for that. It's called ballet. Okay, you don't see a lot of times people do that. They stand in front of the shrine, which is fine, but it actually shows proper traditional and African historical reverence. In terms of the Yoruba culture, and you would also be placing your palms on the hands of of your hands onto the floor. So you place your palms on the floor, you touch your forehead to the floor carefully 3 times. I've seen people get a little overexcited in my shrine and go down, and I have just you gotta be careful. And something that you can say is Mofori Bale Fagbalagba Orun. I'll say it slower. Mofori Bale Fagba Laba Orun. Just say Ashe. And what that means is I bow my head to honor my elders in heaven. I bow my head to honor my elders in heaven. Okay? And to link that particular energy with the energy of what we were speaking about before, Olojo Oni, Olodumare, one could say Mofori Bali, Otito Olodumare, all right, and slower, Mofori Bale Otito Olodumare, Ashe, which means I submit to the truth of Almighty, the Almighty Supreme Being. Okay, I submit to His truth or its truth. All right. So that is one way, it was asked to, what can I do before I'm doing any form of divination? And the first thing you say, I'm giving honor to my elders in heaven, and I'm also submitting to the truth that's going to come through. Humility is a very important thing when you're doing divination. It's so often I see people do castings, and when the cast comes out, they're like, that's weird. It's like, no, it's not weird. You're weird. It's not wrong. You're wrong. You have to have that humility when you're awakening your Egun and when you're asking them questions to understand that whatever comes through, and obviously faith in your own answers, that whatever comes through is correct. And one of the ways we're speaking about awakening, that you can always awaken your ancestor, is to use what they call a Egun Agogo. Okay, this is a bell. You know, you could probably search your go-go's, but you've heard them before, even if you didn't know. And I like to, you know, hit the ago, you know, and I'll hit it several times, and I'll say ago, bokbo agba orun mi, while I'm hitting the bell, and that means all of my elders in heaven. So it's like, you know, I don't want to say chow time, but it's like, you know, when you're hitting the bell and you're saying, okay, everybody come on, you know, and you could just keep, you know, you hit the bell 3 times. You say, ago, agba orun ile ife omo oduduwa, you know, slower, ago, agba orun ile ife omo oduduwa, which is saying, you know, attention. I'm calling to attention. I'm saying, hey, pay attention, ancestors of Ile Ife. Remember, Ile Ife is the beginning of life. The children of Oduduwa, right? Oduduwa, we went through that show. If you haven't listened to the Oduduwa show, please go back, check it out. Many people have gone back. They really enjoyed that show. So, you know, the children of Oduduwa. And then you can say, ring the bell again. Say, ago, bopwara, orunmi, agba orunmi, wolemi. Okay, ashe. Slower, you would say ago. I always say ago 3 times while I'm hitting the bell. Bokbo, ara orunmi, agba orunmi, wolemi, ashe. And that says attention. You know, I'm calling attention. So ago means like attention. You know, all of my family in heaven, my elders in heaven, look upon me. Okay, it's very powerful. If you think about it, you know, I've been getting a lot of messages lately. People have been asking me, you know, like, I want to have an Agun strap. There was a brother, Demetrius, this good brother from Social Network, who listens to the show, and you know, he had some questions about the Opa Agun. You know, we also call it Iku, Opa Iku, but it's the Agun staff or the Ancestral staff, and I, you know, gave him some information. You know, but that's a chant that you can use that is very effective. I would recommend those who are trying to evoke and invoke their Egun and may not know, you know, where to start. You know, you call them and you say, hey, look upon me. You know, ago, attention, bokwara orunmi, agba orunmi wolemi ashe. You know, look down upon me. You know, the children of Ile Ife. You know, so. It's very powerful to do, and there's other little things that you could do, especially if you're using the Egun staff. We won't really get into that. Maybe I'll do a show one day, or I'll take a poll and find out how many of you actually do own staffs, you know, and then we can kind of get into different things you could do. And there's songs you could sing and whatnot when you're invoking your Egun, you know. But I find that the Egun invocations, sometimes they're a little tricky to people. So I figured I would give a little bit of information, especially in understanding the concept, again, of the imminence of Olodumare. It is everywhere. It is in your Egun. It is in your staff. It is in your shrine. It is in that floor that you ballet to, that you bring your head down to slowly and give the proper reverence to, you know? So those chants you can always do before you cast. I know, you know, was asked before, you know, what do we do when we're casting to our Egun? And I would suggest that, you know, you can cast using those same invocations, okay? And you know, obviously before that, do your regular libations, omi tutu, ona tutu, tutu laroye, babain las tutu, yan las tutu, you know, so forth, go on with that. You can even invoke the Orisha as well, and then you can chant, call down your Egun by saying, hey, attention, your child's here. I'm calling all of the ancestors from Ile Ife. So that deals with those you know and those you do not know, because everyone comes from Ile Ife, which means the house of life. Ile house, Ife life. Or sometimes Ife they say is love. You know, Ile Ife, the house of love. But either way, all of them are coming from that space, you know? So I just wanted to share that in terms of Sadulu and the importance of community. I want you guys to begin to do more Egun work. A lot of times I speak to you and you're telling me, you know, I'm working with this Orisha and that Orisha. That's cool. It's beautiful. But don't forget, your Egun are just as part of your community as anyone or anything else. You know, don't forget them. It's important for you to tap into that energy and always bring them, always have them present. You know, when you're having a meal or a ceremony or some food, do that same incantation I just gave you. It's not long. It won't take you very long to do that, right? And even if you have to do it in English, if you don't remember, that's okay. You know, but make sure you tell them, hey, listen, I'm here. You know, the rest of my family may not be into this. The rest of my family may not be giving you proper reverence because it is against their religion, but I am. I didn't forget you. I know that you're still here with me in another dimension. You know, if you understand string theory, maybe we'll get into string theory one day, you know. But in any event, you're here and I acknowledge you, you know, and I give you honor and proper reverence. And in doing that, I know you will give me honor and proper reverence and look out for me. Yeah. So, you know, I just want you all to kind of give some thought to that and to try to get into the groove of proper ancestral veneration and different ways to do it, you know. So with that said, that is our segment. Just tune in this Sunday, 1 p.m. Ifa Wunmi and Brother Wole Ifa, as well as their sister Omilade. They will be bringing to you the Anu Asafo segment. And I think actually I'm going to, like I did last Friday, I posted a double segment. I will probably post a segment in between, perhaps Saturday. I have some things, again, I want to share with you and some ancestral ritual. But in any event, I am Yuya Assaan-ANU. It's been a pleasure, and I will get with you all next time. One love.
We thank you for your listening support and urge you to become an active participating member of the ANU Order. Please be sure to follow our Ustream broadcast, which can be found at ustream.tv/channel/enlightenment-transformation. That is USTREAMENlightenment-transformation. Also, please be sure to sign up for the ANU newsletter, which can be found by going to anunation.org. That is ANUNATION.org. If you'd like to become a sponsor or an on-air guest on this or any of our other broadcasts, please be sure to contact us at questions@anunation.org. That is the word questions at anunation.org. Thank you for your continued support and be well.